Alright guys, we're doing something different today. This actually isn't my video. This footage is shot by a guy I race with at the Alviso Crit. He's a smaller guy, 120 pounds, about 700 watts max power. And he asked me for some tips on how to place better at the Alviso Crit. So he sent me this footage and want to go over some little tips and tricks that I think he could take advantage of and that a lot of my viewers could take advantage of. So I'll be criticizing some of his decision making, and it might seem harsh, but I swear I'm just going to call it like I see it, and it'll be constructive. So right off the bat, there's this guy in the all black on the left that launches this attack. And when somebody's right in front of you or right to the side of you like this, and they wind up an attack, you just have to follow them because you get this huge advantage of not having to match somebody who's coming by you with a ton of speed. Like if you're at the front of the race and say that guy in the black comes flying past you 5 miles an hour faster, it's so hard to respond to an attack like that because the first thing you have to do is match their speed, and then you have to increase your speed in order to close that gap. Whereas if you're in this position, a guy right next to you winds up an attack, you don't have to play catch up and put on this big chase and potentially drag people with you. You can just follow it. Basically, think of it as they're doing all the work for you, and you can move up into position. You know what they say, if you're not moving up, you're moving back. And as a bike racer, you're always looking for opportunities to move up, either in somebody's draft or, taking a good line through a corner. And now it looks like he is maybe potentially trying to move up, or he's just kind of out in the wind. Here, he should be sheltered. This is the headwind section. Okay, so now he's trying to make up ground because he's out of position, but he's kind of doing it at the wrong time because this is the headwind section. He had an opportunity to move up kind of for free in somebody's draft. Now he's doing it on his own terms in the headwind section. And the footage isn't displaying his power, but I guarantee you that was a big effort. Even though it only lasted 5 or 10 seconds, that was a big effort. But he took a good line through that corner. And now he's got a good draft. It looks like this guy in front of him is doing a pretty hard effort. And maybe they're getting a gap here. This is looking pretty good. Yeah, he had a good line through that corner, and now he's found good position. I'm just afraid maybe he used a little bit too much energy just to move up on the outside through the headwind there. But now he's taking a hard pull on the front. So it seems like he's trying to make a breakaway happen here, which is awesome. And this is a good section for it too because it's a crosswind, left to right wind through here. So he's giving his escape partner here some room to get a draft. But they dropped his wheel. Okay, so now he's kind of by himself. And okay, so this is an important position. So when I'm off the front by myself like this, I am checking back like constantly because the one thing you don't want to be surprised by is somebody putting in a big attack and coming past you when you're not expecting it, like this right here. This is so common. So he should have had his head turned back and he should have seen that coming. He could have tried to match the speed. And I was kind of missing this one too. So this is no good because he's missed these wheels. There's these 4 guys who are all interested in making a breakaway happen, and they've all spent some energy to get separation from the group, but they're not working together. There's gaps separating all of them. So if you want a breakaway to happen, there has to be cohesion. Even if you guys aren't on the same team, you have to be rotating. You all have to have a common interest, and otherwise it's just a waste of energy. So anyway, they just crossed the finish line. And that's now 2 laps to go. So the problem now is he's a little too close to the front of the chase, and there's these 2 guys off the front. Now he has to deal with these 2 guys off the front. And he committed energy to ride off the front, but he didn't reap any of the benefits because now instead of getting chased, now he's doing the chasing, and this is not a good position. I hate being in this position. He's probably going to be forced to chase this back because he's so close to the front. And tip for you guys who race without a team, if you want to chase a group back by yourself and you don't want to tow a whole bunch of people with you in your draft, pick a spot in a crosswind and say it's a left to right crosswind, for example, like this section we have coming up here. Go all the way to the right-hand side of the road and do what's called guttering the field. And people hate you for it, but that means that if your competition hates you, it means you're doing something right. And if it's a left to right wind and you go all the way to the right, depending on how strong the wind is, nobody's going to be getting a draft from the effort you do. So you can go really hard and not have to worry about people benefiting from the hard work you're putting in. So meanwhile, while I've been talking, it looks like there's a little rotation going on to chase those two riders back, and it looks like we are not participating in the rotation that's going on in the front, which is a tell. Seems like he doesn't want it to come down to a field sprint. See, I'm a field sprinter, and I would be participating in this rotation just to make sure it's fast enough to bring those two riders back. So if I'm in his position, I'm a breakaway rider, especially if I'm a lighter, snappier breakaway rider. I can think of two scenarios to win this bike race. So if this little rotation in front of him breaks down and those two guys up the road seem like they're going to go the distance, seem like they're going to stay away, I would sit back, rest, and then I would time one really strong, really snappy acceleration, come flying past the front guys just as soon as the pace slows, put my head down and do everything I could to bridge across to those two riders. And the second scenario, if these rotating riders continue to eat into the advantage of the two guys up the road, just sit back, let them continue rotating, and then once that group of two gets caught, that's when you put in your big attack. And it's really good because the people who just chased aren't going to be able to respond to you, and they're probably going to be unwilling to chase you. So that's a good recipe for breakaway success. But meanwhile, while I've been talking, it looks like we've gotten away with one other rider, and we're committing to it. So we're going for it now. This is a lap and a half to go, and this is actually really good because we just picked up one of the riders from the breakaway. There's still one more up the road, but there's a gap. It looks like he's committing some energy. This guy in the green behind him is all in too. So this is like an all-in move now because with coming into one lap to go, oh, he's all crouched on the bars too. Oh, this is it. So coming into one to go, if you're committing to an attack like this, you kind of got to go all in because, well, think about it. I mean, if you're up the front, you're spending energy. And if you get caught, you're probably not going to have enough energy left over to win the field sprint because there's always going to be some guy, lazy field sprinter, who's sitting in the group not doing anything to help with the chase, is going to be able to have all this pop left over because he saved all of his energy for the field sprint. So you may as well commit to the breakaway. Oh man, and as I say that, it looks like they're caught. It looks like they kind of gave up, and now they're caught. Oh, and it's by my nemesis, Brian, too. I hate that. And oh, here goes a counterattack. Oh, that's so frustrating. When you're in Brian's position, that's so frustrating. So you've done all this work on the front to chase back a late race breakaway. Nobody's willing to rotate. And then this big counterattack goes right when you make the catch from the same guys who were unwilling to rotate. I'm not saying that was the case here, but this happens all the time. But that's bike racing. So it looks like we're able to slot back in, which is nice. But, man, that's got to take a lot out of you. Like a half a lap off the front like that. Just a few hard pulls with a lap and a half to go. That really saps the energy from your legs for the field sprint. So we'll see how he fares because now we're inside one to go. This is last lap, guys. And we're in pretty good position here. But, I would attack again through here, especially through this crosswind technical section because just in this position, I'm worried that I haven't made these other guys work hard enough to chase me. And I'm thinking maybe there's a couple of fresh guys in this group who haven't had to put their nose in the wind to chase me down. So sitting in right here maybe isn't the best call. Maybe going on another attack is a better move. But, if you're really confident in your field sprint, then maybe you're still feeling good in this position because, to be honest, our guy right here, he's in a really good position. This is exactly where I would want to be in the last lap of a criteria. So we'll see if he attacks again, but if I'm gearing up for a field sprint, my thoughts at this point in the race is maintain my position, keep it really close to the guy in front of me, and do not get swarmed. So let's see if he can maintain his position up until the field sprint, assuming there's no more attacks going. This is kind of weird. There's this odd gap between these two riders in front of me. I would probably jump into that gap right there before it gets closed down because he's lost like 3-4 positions on the left. And this is weird. Well, now it's too small, but I would have jumped. Whoa, there's a little bobble there, but the guy in the blue, who, by the way, is a really good sprinter, which is maybe why I would have wanted to jump that gap to get on his wheel. So here we go, late race attack by some of the guys who don't trust their field sprint. But like I said before, we're inside the last K now. Nothing's getting away. Every sprinter is going to chase every single thing down. And he let a little gap open up between his front wheel and the rear wheel of this guy in front of him. I don't know if you saw it just a second ago, but that's kind of a tell. He wasn't super snappy like he was before he put in that half a lap attack. So I think he's tired for this field sprint, but we'll see. And still, his position's really good right here. Maybe 400 meters to go. Maybe 2 or 3 more wheels up is the ideal position, but this is still decent. And let's see if he can pass a couple of riders and maybe get a top 3. And I suspect he's going to have a tired field sprint because he was kind of half committed to that breakaway, and now he's kind of half committed to a field sprint. But let's see. Okay, so things open up. We're 200 meters. He's on the left-hand side of the road, which is great. He's in good position right here. He passed a rider. This is like the ideal position, but man, he just doesn't have that snap left in his legs and just doesn't have that raw power. And it looks like 4th place, which is a decent result. But let's talk about the takeaways and maybe a few things he can do to improve upon his 4th place result. So right off the bat, he's got a strong sprint. He can ride a breakaway. What he needs to focus on is finding ways to become more efficient. So like move up only when you're in somebody's draft, move up through taking efficient lines through corners, time your attacks to coincide with crosswind sections of the course, and identifying those moments where when you're attacking and you're committing to a breakaway group, you're forcing your competition to do an equal amount of work that you're doing, because if they're not, you need to shut it down immediately and not waste any more energy. If you're off the front killing yourself and there's 2 people chasing, but there's like 15 people who are just following in the draft, then you're going to get beat by a counterattack or by guys who are fresher in the field sprint. So I had fun making this. If you guys want me to look at your footage, send it to that email on the screen. And as always, thanks for watching. See you at the next one.